Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! Backstory for context. I had just left the hospital about a week or so ago due to really bad pain behind my knee. So bad that I couldn't sit, stand fully upright, walk, lay down, bend, or fully straighten my leg. It came out of nowhere and got progressively worse every day until I ended up bedridden for 2 weeks. Also to note, even though the summer heat is coming to an end where I live, I drank plenty of cold water to the point where I'd have to get up every hour to use a bathroom throughout the day. The pain was so bad that I would use the urge and just lay in bed all day, not even wanting to get up to eat or pee, because it was so bad and sensitive to the touch that any movement would make me wince. Doctors were baffled, so there was a CT scan and an MRI done, as well as bringing in an oncologist because I had a large mass of fat behind my leg, a tumor about the size of a football. Hearing oncologist almost brought me to tears as I feared for the worst. It turns out that what I thought was a really bad cramp was actually torn tendons and ligaments in my leg. I hadn't fallen or hit my leg against anything, which confused everyone, and the large mass was just a fatty tumor. Nothing too serious, according to the doctors and surgeon. No operation was done, it's not cancerous, and I was told in a few weeks the swelling will go down and my leg should heal naturally. I've been using a walker since discharge, and just recently, the pain has become so tolerable that I no longer need it. But I still use a walking cane because there is still a chance I could fall, and I won't risk it for a biscuit. Now that that's out of the way, on to the story. I've been given hydrocodone upon discharge for the pain, but only for 3 days as it's pretty strong and one could possibly get addicted. So, I've been taking Tylenol after my meds ran out, as it's the strongest over-the-counter medicine I could get. I have to keep my leg either very still while laying down or constantly moving it, i.e. walking, as it hurts if I stand still for too long. This incident happened 2 days ago. Instead of sitting at home doing leg exercises in bed and waiting for my dad to go bring me pain meds, I decided to go with him to keep myself moving, hoping it would help me, plus spend some quality time with him. We've had an on and off bumpy relationship, so we headed to the pharmacy, and once we were there, I decided I also wanted some jacket snacks. I informed my dad about this so he doesn't have to slowly follow me around. I suggest he go out to get some quick groceries at the supermarket across the street. He agrees, and we go our separate ways for a while. I go around with a basket and pick up my stuff along with pain meds, taking my time, then head to the counter up front. This is where the entitled dad and his son come into play. The son was quiet the entire time and didn't say a word. As I'm standing in line, I put my basket down next to me and hold on to my cane. As mentioned before, it hurts to stay standing still for too long, and my hands start to wobble a bit as I'm struggling. The entitled dad is behind me in line and makes a snide remark about me struggling to stand, saying how I should quit being a drama queen, you can wait. I turn to him and glare for a few seconds before replying, I have a bad leg. I can't stand for too long, in a deep, irritated tone before turning away. As I do, this man has the absolute nerve to walk over, pick up my basket, and start rummaging through my items. I turn and demand loudly, put down my basket now, to ensure I grab other people's attention. He scoffs and hands it to his son, who's about maybe 6 years old and carrying their own basket, and keeps rummaging, picking out and commenting on my snacks, and gets to my pain meds. What are you, some sort of junkie? What's with all the painkillers? You're getting off on these, aren't you? There are only 3 other people in the line who are either staring or trying not to get involved. I ignore his question and ask for my basket back. This angers the entitled dad, and he asks again in a much louder voice. You're hooked on these, aren't you? As he throws the stuff back into the basket. I am almost to the counter next, but I walk a bit closer as my leg is now starting to feel a bit stiff, and I ask once again for my basket. The entitled dad shouts, "Fine," and as I hold my hand out to grab it, he, instead of handing it to me, throws it forward towards me. I'm only 5'7", and this man was about 6 foot something, a pretty tall guy, and threw it at chest height as if tossing a basketball. So basically, he tossed it at my head. I pull my hands not to catch it but to block it from hitting me in the face. As soon as it hit me, I was knocked backward, stumbling with my leg in pain from the sudden movement as I tried to catch my balance or grab onto something, anything, so I wouldn't hit the floor. If I had fallen against the counter, it would have been much better as I'd still be standing, but I fell straight on my buttocks and onto my back. The rope around my wrist from the cane coupled with the momentum made the cane spin back, and I landed on it with my right arm. I can't tell you how much I screamed and cried in agony as I fell and lay there trying to move my body to my right side. I can't even sit down normally without pain and have to lean most of my body to the right whenever I sit down on a toilet seat, at the dinner table, or even sitting upright on my soft mattress. Any weight or pressure on my leg makes it hurt. It's uncomfortable and it gives me backache, so landing hard straight down was absolute hell. The other customers, as well as a cashier and store manager, started shouting at the guy while trying to help me up. I declined, wanting to stay on the floor as it'd be much better than if I was sitting or standing, and I demanded loudly for the cops to be called and to not let the man go, as I was definitely going to be pressing charges. The entitled dad doubles down and shouts back at everyone else. I mean, look at him. He's exaggerating. He's not hurt. Look at these pain meds. He walks to my basket and takes out my stuff. He continues, he's probably getting high off of these. No one needs this many Tylenol. He's an addict. He doesn't even need this. He proceeds to kick my cane away, but the strap is still around my waist. It's all fake. It's an act. As he's finishing his stupid speech, his voice is starting to shake, as I'm guessing he's realized he's not going to win this one. He goes and grabs his son's hand, puts his basket down and tries to speed walk out of the store, muttering something along the lines of, "Come on son, we don't need this. We'll go to another store." But one customer blocks his way, as does the manager who's already on the phone with the dispatcher and saying officers are on their way. Upon hearing this, the entitled dad bolts, dragging his kid along and shoves the customer, blocking his pass into the metal detector near the entrance. The entitled dad stumbles as a woman with her child in a stroller starts to walk in. He's dancing left to right trying to get past a woman who is now just standing there confused as what's happening. The shoved customer gets back on his feet, runs up to the entitled dad, spins him around 180 and tackles him to the floor, keeping him pinned. Fast forward to my dad coming back and asking what the hell happened. I explained, as did the other customers and manager. The police arrive after a while and everyone starts to explain what happened. A statement was given, charges were pressed, and the entitled dad was taken in cuffs to the backseat of a squad car. His son stayed behind and will be picked up by his aunt. The only thing he said was, "I'm sorry," before we left. So this happened like 9 to 10 years ago when I was 7 or 8 years old. I was a scout back then and a part of a group that was, for the most part, filled with friends and people I know. I was popular because back then I was social and easygoing. I was friends with everyone and everyone was friends with me and everyone else. But as always, there is one exception to this. In all honesty, the entitled kid was a dumb brat. He would yell, he would fight, and he would make others cry. He did what he wanted. Back then I thought he was special and that's why I tried to be friends with him. But nope, later in life, when we went to the same high school, I learned that he was just dumb. Like I said, that kid would always be trying to get into fights with everyone. People were sick of it and in time, so was I. I don't remember clearly what the brat did to deserve a shout from me. He was probably harassing girls or hitting boys, but I flipped on him. Now at this time he didn't take out his knife or begin to cry. Instead he just stopped shouting and stopped whatever he was doing. And for the rest of the day he would just sit at the back of our cabin and stare at me menacingly. So let's skip a week ahead in time. It was a next scout session, I don't know what else to call it, and things were going well. We were doing something time-consuming, so everyone's attention was on the thing they were doing, whatever that was. The entitled kid, of course, wasn't doing anything, and instead he decided it was better to run around the cabin. The scout leader tried her best to stop the madness, but that only fueled the kid's rampage. While on his rampage, it didn't take long for him to find the door to the locked cabin that was next to the main cabin. But when he did, well, things hit the fan hard. I was sitting next to the cabin and I could hear everything he did and said there clearly. He said, "Oh my." He started whispering from the locked cabin. "Hey Joel, that's me. Come here for a second." At first I thought, what is he doing now? But I soon became curious. He wouldn't stop whispering and I kind of wanted to know what the bugger had found. So, like the stupid kid I went there. "Yeah? What is it?" I asked him. "I've got something to show you." After a bit of searching, I found him at the back of the cabin. Now, at this time, I thought he was going to apologize for being a jerk to everyone, and I was quite ecstatic. I knew this would be a story I would milk out, something to brag about to my friends. I was so intimidated that he apologized to me. Well, I got a story out of it, but not the one I was hoping for. I asked him, "What's it got there, buddy?" His back was turned against me, and I didn't see what he was hiding or doing. After I asked him what he was doing, he turned around. "Do you see this, Joel?" I couldn't see what he had in his hand, but I saw his twisted grin. "I can't see it. Could you bring it closer?" "Sure." And now I saw it. A dull, red-handled knife. "Do you see it now, Joel?" Now at this point I said something along the lines of, "Oh no," or "What the?" and poked it. Out of there was a jerk laughing maniacally behind me. I ran out of the locked cabin into the main cabin and tripped. This diverted the leader's attention, who now noticed that the entitled kid was gone and that I was on my cabin floor panicking. "What's wrong, Joel? Where's the entitled kid?" "It's him. That wanker's got a knife." Yep, I said wanker. That one I remember vividly. "What? He's trying to gut me." It took a moment for the leader to realize what was happening, but when she did, she ran into the locked cabin fuming. My friends came closer and asked me what had happened, but before I could answer them, I heard the leader scream at the entitled kid. "What makes you think it's okay to threaten someone with a knife?" "I wasn't, I was just showing it." "Well, what makes you think you have any right to hold one without a supervisor? You could have not only hurt yourself, you could have hurt Joel. I swear I..." "Get out of here. Go outside and wait for your mom to come pick you up." She then came back into the main cabin and told one of the other leaders to look after us. She then went outside with the entitled kid and waited for the mother to come pick the little devil up. Now, according to what I had heard, the leader told the others after this incident that the mother was furious, a complete and utterly entitled mother who tried to tell the leader that I was probably the aggressor and that I was the son of a witch. At the time I laughed at this with my friends, but had I known she would come for me the next week, I wouldn't have been laughing. In order for you guys to better understand where me and my friends were when this happened, here is the main cabin. Now, a week after the incident, me and my friends were on top of the bridge you can see in front of the building. We were messing around doing dumb stuff, playing tag, and stuff like that, when suddenly the entitled mother showed up, and the conversation went something like this. "Which one of you is Joel?" I tell her, "Here, ma'am." You're the one who bullied my darling." "What?" I then noticed the entitled kid on the back seat, bawling his eyes out. "Oh, you're the entitled kid's mom." "Yeah, he tried to slice me with a knife." "He would never." She then went on to list some positive things about him, which seemed pretty nonsense to me and my friends. He's a gentleman, yet he harassed little girls. He's great at school, yet he couldn't bother to pay attention for a single second. And he was an F&D student in high school. So yeah, he's got more friends than any of you. Yet he had somehow become an outcast in our scout group. I honestly got bored with her rambling and went back to playing with my friends. Some of them kept shouting at her. Others ignored her. One of my friends, a girl I had known since kindergarten, started straight up roasting the 30-year-old woman. I can't remember what she shouted, but I remember the entitled mother's reaction. "Shut up, you witch! This ain't none of your business." Now, this didn't stop my friend. In fact, it fueled her rage even more. Knowing what kind of woman her mother was, this didn't surprise me one bit. As time went on, one of the leaders noticed the commotion and came to check on what was going on. The entitled mother noticed this and got out of there fast. After the leader asked us what had happened, and we told him, he went and told the main leader, and she was furious. She went and straight up banned the entitled kid, a ban that was lifted just 3 years ago in 2016, when the entitled kid wanted back into the scout group. My career as a scout had already come to an end in 2011. My career as a scout had already come to an end in 2011. So it didn't bother me until I started it again in the autumn of 2016 and had to cope with a dumb jerk again. I fell down my stairs Thursday morning, less than 2 hours before I was to be at work. I work at my local gas station making pizzas and other food items. I couldn't find my own replacement, so I went to work. I bruised my ribs quite badly. I was 9 minutes late clocking in, and I told my boss right away what happened, and I was moving kinda slowly. On Friday, I clocked in 6 minutes late because the registers were being used and I couldn't clock in right away. I told him I have to leave for a doctor's appointment after 4 hours, as it's the only time I can be seen before the weekend, when I also work. Thanks to the medication the doctor gave me, I fell asleep after sending the kids to school. I woke up 5 minutes before I was supposed to be at work. I immediately messaged both the manager and the kitchen person on duty for the next hour that I was running late. I will be there before she left at 11, which I was. On Monday, I got written up for being late and leaving early. Now, the doctor didn't just give me medication, he wanted to give me a work release for the weekend as well as Monday and today, our truck day. But I told him no because I didn't want to screw my teammates and my boss over because it's Mother's Day weekend, and I'm a mother and I could have gotten it off. So today, after I get off my 2-hour early morning shift to putting frozen crab away with still bruised and painful ribs, I go to see the doctor again and say, "I guess I should have taken your note, doc. I got written up for being late the day of my known injury. It sure would be nice to have an even longer note now. Say till next Monday maybe." And that's how I got a week off work, and the best part is that this is my exact message. "Hey boss, as you know, I fell down my steps on Thursday, 5/11. When I went to the doctor on Friday, 5/12, he tried to give me a doctor's note off work, but I told him if he gave me one, I wouldn't turn it in because I wasn't leaving my team high and dry, and that would screw my boss over it being Mother's Day weekend and all. Well, when I went back to him today, I told him I should have taken that note because I got written up for my tardiness due to my injury. He told me I'm not healing very fast due to working, so if I didn't take this one, he was bringing it to you himself. I wanted to give it to you as soon as possible, as I'm not getting back to town for a while. I will bring the physical copy in when I get back home. This is the third time they have tried to screw with me, and I maliciously compliant or just pity revenged their butts way deeper into the dirt than they knocked my butt into. I wonder when they will learn to just leave me be and let me work. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.